Okay, Dr. Andrew Gorecki here, Superior Physical Therapy. I'm the owner. And for those that don't know me, my main mission in life is to help as many people as possible get rid of their pain without medications, without injections, and without surgeries. And today we're going to be talking about, I want to really speak to the person who finally found a physical therapist. They're in physical therapy and it's either not helping them or it's making them feel worse. Before we get started today, if you like what I'm talking about and you're serious about finding a natural solution, I would encourage you to visit back-class.com, where I'm going to be teaching a class online. It's about an hour long. That's going to be talking about more great information and the concepts that I'm going to be sharing today. We're going to go into much more detail. Okay, so you've gone to the doctor. Your back pain started, it didn't go away on its own, you got your pain medication, your anti-inflammatories, that didn't help. You went back to the doctor, you got an image, so an x-ray or an MRI, it showed some changes in your spine, maybe it didn't, but then you got sent hopefully to a physical therapist instead of the neurosurgeon, and now you're in physical therapy, or maybe you did it and it's done already, and it didn't help, or maybe it even made you worse. What should you do now, right? You're probably pretty frustrated. You are gonna end up going back to your doctor, right? What should you be thinking? What should you try? What should you do? And as a physical therapist, it's a tough scenario, right? You know, we want to help everybody. We want to make sure that, we believe that we can help the whole world, right? And so what should you be thinking? Well, I can tell you that number one, if it didn't help or it made you worse, the physical therapist was focusing on the wrong problem. So they didn't actually find the thing in your body that's causing the pain. And what most healthcare providers in general are doing is when you have pain in a specific area, they focus only on that area. So for example, and I had this before I was a physical therapist. I had a pretty major back injury in 2004, and I went through over 18 months of treatment, all different types of treatment, including physical therapy, which made me worse. And the reason that it made me worse is because the only thing they were focusing on was my back. Everybody was looking at my back. They were pushing on my back, stretching it, tractioning it, strengthening it, electrocuting it, ultrasounding it, icing it, hot packing it. They were making me move my back more. And it's kind of logical when you hear me say it, that of course it's going to make you feel worse, right? If your back hurts when you're moving and you move it more, it's going to make you feel worse. And so here's where the disconnect was. These health providers didn't understand how the whole body's connected and how the most back pain is actually a result of improper motion in the areas above the spot that hurts as well as below. And in my case specifically, it was my hip. I had a hip that wasn't moving very well because of an old high school baseball injury. And yet I had this x-ray and an MRI that showed a disc herniation. And so that's what everybody thought was the problem. And the treatment made me worse because it was only moving my back more. Nobody had looked at the areas above and below. And it wasn't until I went through 18 months of treatment at various providers, had surgery, which failed, and then I ended up becoming a physical therapist, and somebody helped me recognize that it was my hip that wasn't rotating. And as soon as my hip rotation was restored through gentle stretching, very easy, 2 weeks later, all my pain was gone. The disc herniation was still there, but my pain was gone. So you think about that, it's pretty crazy, right? So if you're going right now and either you went and it's making you worse or it didn't help you at all, don't paint a broad brush that says, gosh, physical therapy is not for me. Physical therapists are the most trained professionals that are in healthcare as it relates to back pain or any other musculoskeletal disorder. But it just means they didn't find the problem. Here's an analogy. If I went in last summer with poison ivy on my shin, on my leg, from golfing poorly and in the woods the entire time. And I had an infection that was developing, so I got an antibiotic. And I came back in like 7 to 10 days later and the infection was worse and the antibiotic didn't work. My doctor didn't conclude that antibiotics don't work for me, right? He concluded that we needed a stronger one. And so if you are going to a physical therapist and it's not helping or maybe it's making you worse, don't immediately think it's not for you. You need to find somebody who's more trained and who understands how the whole body's connected and that maybe is a little bit more I don't want to use the word aggressive, but maybe a little bit more prescriptive. So hopefully that helps. I know it can be discouraging. I know you can lose hope. But if you're serious about finding a natural solution and you like what I'm talking about today, I'd encourage you to call Superior Physical Therapy. You can talk right with me, 231-944-6541. We can have a quick conversation to determine whether or not I can help you. But hopefully you enjoy what I'm talking about today, and hopefully you don't give up on this. It can be a real struggle, I realize that. So hang in there. You're going to find a solution, and I hope you enjoyed listening to what I have to say today as much as I enjoy making it. I'll talk to you next time.